It's Sunday in South Carolina. Welcome to the Touchdowns podcast presented by Harrison Williamson Cross Country Mortgage. We are discussing the CFP rankings that just dropped as we were gearing up to start recording the show. This is going to be our instant reaction to that. What happened yesterday on Championship Saturday to affect these rankings. We've been dissecting as the committees release their rankings, and now we have the 12-team field set. So we want to get into that. Just another reminder about our giveaway for Vanderbilt, the SEC men's basketball opener. We are giving away 4 tickets to enter the contest. All you need to do is DM us Slushy Mike and prove that you are subscribing on either YouTube, Spotify, or Apple, and we will do a random draw before the episode on December 17th. So if you're out there listening, get in our DMs, Slushy Mike, and enter in to get 4 tickets for the SEC men's basketball home opener against Vanderbilt, who, by the way, is a top 5 team in the net rankings early in the year. They got a really good squad, so that's going to be one that you would want to see. So let's talk these rankings, Thomas. I'll run them down real quick. They're on the screen as well, but Indiana, Ohio State, Georgia, Texas Tech make up the top 4. Those teams will have a bye. Then we have Oregon, Ole Miss, Texas A&M, Oklahoma. Those teams will be host sites for the first round at their home fields on campus. And then to round out the top 12, we have Alabama, Miami, Tulane, and JMU. So that's the big thing that jumps off the screen immediately is the fact that the committee put Miami in over Notre Dame. I mean, this just makes me feel like the committee should not release their rankings until the end of the season. Like, they had Notre Dame ahead of Miami every week, and then there was no games played this week, and they jump Miami over Notre Dame. I'm not saying I believe Notre Dame shouldn't have been in from the get-go, but based on how the committee was ranking the teams, it doesn't make a lot of sense that now Miami jumps them. I still have a problem with BYU being left out just based on their resume. I thought they had a stronger resume than Miami, Notre Dame, and Alabama, as well as probably an equal resume to someone like Texas A&M. And just they basically had to win the Big 12 championship to get in. I didn't think that was very fair to them. They end the season basically beating everyone on their schedule except Texas Tech, who's the fourth ranked team in the country, and they just didn't have a chance. They didn't. I think they were ranked improperly because you look at a team like Bama and they go and get their ass kicked in the SEC championship. That the SEC championship doesn't affect them. But BYU was kind of screwed from the get-go because the committee didn't have them over Notre Dame or Miami, and then Miami jumps up over Notre Dame. So I think BYU kind of got screwed because they were just not being compared to these other teams that were on the bubble. And I want to say, can you double check me? Was BYU ranked ahead of Miami last week's rankings? Wasn't Notre Dame 10, BYU 11, and Miami 12?
That's correct.
Okay. So BYU essentially got screwed for losing in the Big 12 championship. How does Miami jump them if BYU was ranked ahead of Miami? But so BYU loses, so now that bumps up Miami to be next to Notre Dame, to now the committee can put Miami in based on the head-to-head. Like, this whole process is stupid as fuck, and the committee sucks, and we all know that there's driving factors from these media outlets, the Big Ten and Fox and the Big 12, and then the SEC and the ACC with the ESPN, with the SEC kind of being ESPN's bell cow, and the Big Ten kind of being Fox's bell cow. But I just hate this process. I think the committee needs to be abolished, and I'm gonna put a very well thought out process into how I think it should be going forward, and we'll talk about it in the off season. But for now, the rankings are what they are. Miami stands out to me. Georgia not jumping Ohio State after winning the SEC and Ohio State losing the Big Ten championship. I thought that was surprising. And then obviously you have Duke, who won the ACC, and now Tulane and JMU get in by virtue of winning their conference championships, because Duke was not even, as a 7-5 team, not even close to being ranked, and Virginia really screwed the pooch by not being able to win that game last night. And I think the ACC commissioner made a call when Duke won and said, y'all need to put in Miami over Notre Dame because the ACC needs representation in the field. A lot to digest. Some good storylines. Thomas, what do you think about these rankings, and what are your feelings on the college football playoff this year?
I also didn't love that they kept Ohio State ahead of Georgia. They're just in every way possible inconsistent about how they value the conference championship game. Last year, South Carolina fans were told essentially that we were dead in the water. We don't have a chance of getting in regardless of the outcome of the ACC championship, because they were not going to penalize SMU for losing the championship game. But then, to your point, they did exactly that to BYU this year. They say they value winning your conference, but Georgia doesn't move up a spot for winning the SEC. I know that the Ohio State-Indiana game was a close competitive game, but you can't not.
If you look at Georgia's resume to Ohio State, Georgia's resume is far superior.
I think it's ridiculous that you can't use the conference championship game as a data point. That adds another top 10 win to Georgia's resume. They
avenged the only loss they had this season.
That Georgia's resume is the second best resume in the country behind Indiana's. There's no question about that.
Yeah.
I'm glad that Notre Dame got screwed over. I think that they are probably one of the top 12 best teams, but maybe this will strong arm them into joining a conference and stop playing the independent game, or them getting left out. They have enough political power in college football to probably change how the rankings are done. They'll probably be 2 independent auto bids next year or something like that. But yeah, I mean, I'm just glad that we were able to get JMU in there. 126th strength of schedule. They haven't played a Power 4 team yet, so I'm really excited to see them play a Power 4
team. I think they did play. They played Louisville and lost.
That's right. They have played a Power 4 team. They just lost to them. They haven't beat a Power 4 team. So I'm super glad JMU gets in there over BYU and Notre Dame. They're definitely better than either of those teams, more deserving. So 2 Group of 5 schools in the top 12. That makes a ton of sense. I'm really happy about that. But yeah, I mean, I don't care. Moving forward, I will watch it. And we'll obviously have the DB Blitz, and we'll be picking those games. But for For me, I'm just kind of following it to see. I think we were talking about it before the show started. Indiana or Texas Tech winning it all would be the two lessest evils. I think right now I'll be pulling for Indiana. Don't want to see Ohio State go back to back. Don't want to see Georgia, anybody in the SEC win it. I really don't want anyone to win. I don't want anyone to be happy if not us. But like I said, Indiana or Texas Tech would be the most tolerable outcomes for me.
Hey, well, I just want to point out JMU also they did beat a power conference team, Washington State. The same Washington State team that almost beat Ole Miss in Oxford.
What power conference?
The Pac-2. The Pac-2.
Yeah, you stupid son of a.
Hey, Washington State took Ole Miss to the wire.
Wow, guess what you
in Oxford.
Guess what you get for almost winning? Not shit. That's why we're 4-8. We almost beat Alabama. We almost beat Texas A&M. That's not how football works, pussy.
Hey, I'm just saying. James
There's
Madison
no
beat
logical
Washington State.
explanation for them to be in, and you know it.
Hey, Duke fans, as in the Dukes of James Madison, I'm rooting for y'all against Oregon. I hope they
y'all
beat
lose
Oregon.
by 100 points.
Oregon is not good. They are overrated.
Yeah, which is why they shouldn't get a fucking layup in the first round. That's why I'm pissed off. Like, Oregon isn't good. I think Oregon is overrated. And we're just going to give them a fucking spoon-fed round one? That's bullshit. It should be, to your point, BYU or Notre Dame. Or any other fucking Power 4 team that actually has a resume. Southern Cal.
Notre Dame's independent, so they're not Power 4 either. So they're a.
Well, you know what I'm talking about, bro.
Hey,
you know what
I'm just saying.
It's bullshit that
they don't have Notre Dame.
It's bullshit that Oklahoma has to play Alabama round one and Oregon gets to play JMU. That's bullshit. That is not. There shouldn't be that much disparity.
I mean, Oregon is ranked higher than Oklahoma.
There shouldn't be that much disparity in the difficulty of a round one game between the 5 seed and the 8 seed. And you know it.
Hey, I'm just saying the Dukes might pull off the upset against Oregon. So that's what I'll be cheering for, and I'll be cheering for Tulane to beat Ole Miss. I believe
they should have made the field.
Nah, I'll be cheering for Tulane and James Madison big time.
Well, just get ready for me to go in on you when those are not competitive games. And you say, well, there's been blowouts before. What about Michigan State and Alabama? I don't care.
Bro, there's blowouts every year. Yeah, every single year.
I don't even care about blowouts. That's not why I'm against it. I'm against it because Beck. You know why I'm against it. Because in 3 years, we're going to be BYU. We're going to be the team that gets left out for fucking, Jacksonville State because they won the fucking MEAC. I'm telling you.
Hey, well, ultimately, hey, the results of this year, between like Texas fans crying that they should have been in and how they, we scheduled Ohio State and if we didn't, we would be in. Between them crying and Vanderbilt being a 10-2 SEC
That's
team and
another
not
team.
getting
Vanderbilt should be in instead of fucking JMU. If you go 10-2 in the SEC, you should be in.
I mean, Vandy they could have been in, but unfortunately they lost to Bama. So the committee wasn't going to put Vanderbilt over Bama based on the head-to-head. Like, they just lost to the wrong team.
What do you mean?
They went 10-2 and beat Bama and lost to
Bama and Vanderbilt could both be in. There should be 2 more spots for people to get in.
I mean, it's not our fault that the ACC. It's not the Group of Five's fault that ACC sucks and had a 8-5 champion. I mean, it's set up to where the group of 5 should only have one spot. This year they got 2 because the ACC is a joke. But like I said, the ACC, as soon as Duke won, they made the phone call to the committee and said, y'all need to put in Miami over Notre Dame because we just got fucked out of the playoff.
I do agree with that theory that you have. I think that the ACC threw their weight behind that. They're like, listen.
Like, I think if Virginia won last night, Notre Dame would have stayed in front of Miami.
Correct.
Because the ACC would have had Virginia in.
Virginia would have been represented. JMU would have been out, and Notre Dame would have been in. I agree with that. I agree with that theory.
Yeah. It's all, but that's the thing, dude. This is all just. That's why the committee sucks, because there's no consistency to why they rank teams the way they do.
The answer to all of the questions on the discrepancy is they put in who they want to put in, and they make a explanation for it and justify it after the fact. But they are going to put in the teams that they want. And then they fit the narrative around that. And that's fine. Like, I don't think that will ever change if humans are involved, which, I would love to go back to the just taking the top 12 BCS computer rankings. But we as South Carolina fans, we just have to put ourselves in a position to where we can't be on the chopping block. We have to be far enough into the field that we can't get left out for a more suitable TV team.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. But, like, think about it, bro. SEC has 5 teams in the playoff. Like, that just sucks for Vanderbilt that they're the 6th best team in the fucking almost 50% of the field is SEC teams. Like, so it's just a shit draw for Vandy because, and again, it goes back to they didn't have the key wins, and then the team that was really probably the most on the chopping block was Bama, and Bama beat Vandy. So, like, there was no really way to get Vandy in.
Moving forward, I think it's going to be much harder for the SEC to have 5 teams in. Like, I think the only reason that we were able to get 5 teams in this year is because we're still on an 8-game conference schedule. Once we move to 9 games, we're going to kind of devour ourselves a little bit more than we have been. Like, there just won't mathematically be this many 11-1 or 10-2 SEC teams because we'll be playing each other, and it'll be cleaner in that sense. Vanderbilt and Oklahoma are both 10-2, right? But they just didn't play each other, so there's no head-to-head to go off of. Probably not enough from a common opponent standpoint. Oklahoma has stronger wins, but once we go to non-conference games, like, there's probably really only going to be 4 SEC teams a year at most that have resumes that make sense for the playoff. Because
I would
each other up.
I would like to see all the Power 4 conferences go back to divisions.
But how do you do that? Because then you can't play. Like, the reason that we're going to 9 and the reason that there aren't divisions is because then you wouldn't.
Bro, the conferences are too big. Like, Texas A&M has a completely imbalanced schedule compared to
correct
us.
Going back to divisions would make it even more unbalanced because then you're even more segmented into your division. The fact that has Georgia even played Texas A&M yet in conference?
No.
Once.
No.
So, yeah, it's just
when?
Like they played one time, and like,
okay,
that's why we can't bring divisions back. I mean, if anything, we're moving further away from divisions, and the conference is getting bigger and moving into like.
No, this is what you do. This is what you do. There's 16 teams in the SEC. You have 2 divisions of 8. You play the other 7 teams in your division every year, and then you play 2 teams from the other division, and it rotates. So you're going to play every SEC team in a 4-year span. And that's the way you're going to have to do it because, like I said, A&M, like it was the same thing with Texas last year. Texas got the luck of the draw. They played in a 16-team league. They played 7 out of the bottom 16 teams in Georgia. And they lost to Georgia.
Right.
But then they beat. And then the same thing happened with A&M this year.
I don't think that divisions necessarily solves that. They got lucky that they played the bad teams in the conference. There will always be the bottom half of each division, and there will always be the bottom half of the other division. And the schools that get to play the weakest teams in the other division will have an easier schedule than the schools that are playing the good teams in the other division.
But it's not going to be right. It's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be one game.
And you have to consider traditional rivalries. That is another thing that influences how and why they do things for SEC scheduling is, keeping as many of the rivalries intact as possible. There's no perfect system.
I agree, Thomas, but when you go to divisions, even if Texas A&M and LSU are in the SEC West, even if LSU gets the shitty end of the draw and they play Georgia and Florida, and Texas A&M gets Kentucky and South Carolina, yes, Texas A&M had an easier schedule, but it's only 2 games. Every other SEC game is going to be a common opponent for LSU and Texas A&M. That's how it used to be. That's how it used to be when it was SEC East and SEC West. Yeah, sometimes you got fucked and you played the best team in the SEC West when your division rival played the worst team. That's just how it was.
We got fucked all the time. It's if you
wanted I know we did.
If you wanted to know who was going to be good in the SEC West, just look at who we were playing in 4 years.
Yeah. Exactly. But that's just, again, and
candidates.
I'm putting more
that were always good, but it's
I'm gonna put more thought to this, but to be honest, I think if you split it up into divisions, division winners get into the playoff. I think the playoff's going to expand to 16 teams as well.
I would agree that that's probably coming, but I don't change. Even once it goes to 16, I don't change my tune that I'm against auto bids. I just think that, dude, I think it's so clean and so simple to just take the BCS rankings and just take the top 16 of the BCS rankings. And I know that makes things more difficult for the group of 5 schools, but I don't care about them.
I mean, yeah, I'm not opposed to it. Honestly, I'm a proponent of anything that eliminates the playoff committee.
Is there a way is there anyone that can we look up what the BCS rankings for this year would be? Does that exist?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a whole Twitter account that's devoted to it. Basically compares what the BCS would have ranked versus what the college football playoff committee.
While he's looking that up, Beck, do you want to recap your Blitz picks?
Yeah, I can do that. 2 and 3 yesterday. BYU came out hot. They played the perfect first quarter, and just I think Bear Bachmeier hurting his ankle really fucked them over. It changed their game plan. They couldn't get an offensive rhythm, and then they just started turning the ball over like crazy. It was just an onslaught of turnovers, and Texas Tech took advantage of them. Honestly, BYU's defense held I think they Texas Tech attempted like 4 or 5 field goals. So I think they made 4 field goals, but BYU just couldn't get it going. It was just one of those games where the turnover bug bit them, and it wouldn't. They couldn't get it corrected, and just kind of the mistakes just started piling in the second half, and they just couldn't overcome it. So that was a tough loss. They got blown out. UGA, Bama under, that was a hit. Indiana was a hit. North Texas, another team that just on Friday night just played flat against Tulane. They had too many turnovers. They also, first drive of the game, just went 15 plays, 80 yards for a touchdown, and I was like, all right, I'm feeling good about North Texas in this game. And they just couldn't keep it together, started playing pretty careless with the ball and turnovers. And Tulane just got the better of them on Friday night. And then, UVA, just what a joke. They had everything in front of them. All you have to do is beat Duke, and you're in the playoff. They couldn't get it done. They rallied late with an awesome touchdown drive to force overtime. Duke just ran it right down their throat in overtime, scored a touchdown, and first play of Virginia's possession, they throw a pick. So 2-3 for me, just an awful. I felt like the games I lost started well and just didn't pan out. But I think we were on the same side with North Texas and BYU, but we were also on the same side of Indiana. So we finally hit one where we were both on the same side, but we were 1-2. So, yeah. Were you 3-2?
I was 3-2. So yeah, we finally hit one. Indiana got it done for us. And then I lost BYU and North Texas as well. I was on Duke +4. I can't really take credit for that pick. I didn't pick it because I was like, yeah, this is a good pick. I wanted to root for that outcome because of the chaos it would create. And then, Kirby gets it done against Bama. They looked really good. I don't know how Georgia matches up with Ohio State or Indiana, but they're certainly playing their best football at the right time of the year. But 3-2, I'm not back to 500 yet, but I'm maintaining my lead over you, so I'll have to take it.
Who do you think is gonna win the national championship? If you had to pick it today, now that the bracket's revealed.
Yeah, again, I really hate that Georgia is the 3 seed and not the 2 seed. So how does that play out? So Georgia and Ohio State would play each other in the semis now?
Yes,
I guess it doesn't matter
if the higher seed wins.
I guess it doesn't matter if they were the 2 or the 3 because they were going to the same place either way. I do think that side of the bracket will be Georgia and Ohio State in the semis. Who ends up playing on the other side of the semifinals, I think, is going to be it could be Indiana versus somebody. It could be, I don't know. At this point, you kind of have to trust Cignetti and Indiana. They proved it in the big game yesterday. But if I had to pick a winner for the whole thing, and this isn't what I want to happen, but I still think Ohio State.
Yeah. This is pretty chalky, but I think it's going to be the semifinals are going to be Texas Tech versus Indiana and Georgia versus Ohio State, and those are the top 4 seeds. I think Georgia's going to beat Ohio State. and I think Texas Tech is going to beat Indiana, and I'm taking Texas Tech over Georgia in the national championship.
That would certainly be.
I'm on the Red Raiders, baby. Guns up, motherfuckers.
Tell me that this isn't a better 12 teams than what we currently have. Ohio State 1, Indiana 2. This is prior to conference championships. So this has not been updated. But going into conference championships, Ohio State, Indiana, Georgia, Oregon, Ole Miss, Texas Tech, Texas A&M, Oklahoma, Notre Dame, Alabama, BYU, Vanderbilt. So, if we're saying that conference championships don't affect the teams, then those would be the 12 teams. If we wanted to let conference championships affect things, obviously that would move Indiana and Georgia up. It could potentially drop BYU out, which would slide Miami in. So the biggest difference would be that Notre Dame and Vanderbilt are in the field instead of,
Shout out Cajun Cousins.
Yes. The biggest difference between what we have and what the BCS rankings would provide is where what are you talking about?
Tulane at 12. Oh.
This says JMU's at 11 too. This is just what we actually have. Yeah, this has JMU and Tulane in. The only difference between the BCS and what we actually have is they have Notre Dame instead of Miami. Then fuck the BCS too. How the fuck does it do that? How the fuck does it have that?
Let's go Dukes.
How does the BCS have neither of those teams in the top 18 prior to championship weekend, and then they both jump into the top 12? Someone fuck with this model.
Because Tulane had a big ranked win against North Texas.
Fucking spare me.
A ranked win that Vanderbilt doesn't have. Vanderbilt has no ranked wins. So the BCS at least values, ranked wins.
Totally.
Hey, it's gonna be the episode after the first round is gonna be fun.
Yeah, for me.
Yeah. Maybe we might get some total disagreements across the DB Blitz in round one.
I'm sure you're gonna ride the G5 schools plus the points.
Oh yeah, give me Tulane and JMU with they're probably going to be getting 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, that's.
I might have to break out I might have to sprinkle the money line, baby.
Yeah, that's an indication of the right team being in the field. 3 touchdown spreads.
I mean, dude, you can't really take spreads or spreads. That doesn't matter as far as who should be in and who shouldn't. You shouldn't work off of. Notre Dame would be favored against Oklahoma, Alabama. They would be favored against everyone not at the top.
I know.
Not in the top 4.
I know.
Can't do it. Can't do it.
You want to talk a little OC rumors?
Yeah, I'm excited to hear that Kendall Briles is being linked with the OC job. There's some real reporting. Obviously, we're not reporters, but we follow some of the great work that the guys on the beat for South Carolina do, and it's been reported over the weekend that Kendall Briles is nearing a deal, and what he might be a 2-for-1 package with running backs coach Jimmy Smith coming with him. That does make a lot of sense considering Beamer just let go of our running coach Blackwell a couple days ago. So you have to think the timing of that, maybe the conversations with Kendall Briles. Hey, I want to bring Jimmy Smith with me. And Jimmy Smith, Darlington native. I know he was linked to the job a couple years back when we ended up with Blackwell. So I think that would be a huge get, and then you have to go figure out who you want to keep in the offensive room. Do we stick with Sean Elliott and Mike Fury at their positions, or do we have Kendall Briles bring in his own guys? So I'd be happy with this hire, and I know there was some rumors around the ODU guy Decker and the ECU guy Baker, but I think this is what Beamer has to do. He's got to go get a proven guy, and Kendall Briles has done it at all levels. Power four. This isn't some up and comer. He's a proven dude with a good track record. So I'm excited about it. What are your thoughts on it, T?
Yeah, I mean, I think this checks all the boxes. It's a guy that has the name pedigree. People know Art Briles. People know Kendall Briles. It's a college system. He's called plays before at the college level. TCU didn't put up insane numbers this year, but they're certainly better than the numbers that we have produced under any of the OCs under being like if we would have scored 30 points per game this year, we would have gone 10-1 and to overtime. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Clayton has us in a position where we just have to be a little above average on offense to be very difficult. I've said it already, and I'll say it 100 more times. It doesn't matter who we hire. If we get to week 1, week 2, or week 3 next year, and it doesn't look better, like you can make the perfect on paper hot. Like, think about Clemson. When they hired Garrett Riley in the offseason that we hired Dowell, in a lot of ways, that hire is very similar to what we're looking at with Kendall right now. He's a name that everybody knows because he's related to Lincoln, so the pedigree's there. He'd put up numbers. Was he at TCU as well, wasn't
he? Yeah.
It's astounding, the similarities. And, I think that if you ask most Clemson fans 3 or 4 years later, they're not that satisfied with him. And a lot of them wanted him gone at some point. Some may still want him gone. I don't know who's going to fall on the axe for them this offseason. They always blame something for their failures. And, last year it was Wes Goodwin. I don't know who's on the hot seat for them right now, but yeah, it's like, I think that this hire definitely makes a lot more sense than many of Beamer's hires in the past. And I think that if this becomes what happens officially, many fans will be able to get behind it. But we have gotten to a point, both with the offense and just the program overall, where you have to prove it on the field and win for me to really give you any grace. Beamer is officially in my doghouse. And he really won't get out of my doghouse until we make the playoffs. If we win 8 games next year, I won't want him fired, but I won't be back on board with him. Like, if we can get Lenorse to stay, and we can get Nick to stay, and we can get Dylan to stay, and we hire Kendall Briles, and we have a good portal class, I will expect us to make the playoffs next year. And if we don't do that, I'll be disappointed. I'll be upset. Like, I don't think our schedule will get easier than it is next year. We backed out of the Miami game, so I assume that we're gonna replace that with a cupcake. We have Arkansas with a first-year head coach. We have Florida with a first-year head coach. We have Kentucky with a first-year head coach. Don't we have Mississippi State? So, like, our SEC schedule next year will not be as favorable as it is maybe ever again. So we have to do something with that. And if the players that I just mentioned come back, we'll have the opportunity to. But we just got to do it. I'm the biggest optimist, sunshine pumper. I drink the Kool-Aid every year. I pass it out. I bring a Gatorade jug full of the Kool-Aid, and I just pass it out to everybody who will take a cup. But I really think that I'm going to sit back and fucking wait. I'll talk about it. I'll talk about what I want to happen, but I'm not drinking it this year. I got to see it.
We'll see. Yeah, I think, I like where this is headed. Again, all that matters with this hire, or all that happens with this hire, is a little boost of positivity in the off season. But to your point, it doesn't mean anything until we line the ball up next year and show it on the field. So I just think it's a positive hire. And again, Beamer had to just nail this off season. And we talked about on the last episode, doing what he did on National Signing Day was a good start. I think if we can get Bryles in the fold with Jimmy Smith and then, figure out the offensive staff, that's the next step. And then, the announcements of hopefully guys like Lenoris, Dylan, Nick, I think you'll see, we were texting about it yesterday with Jalen Kilgore. I think he's going to be an NFL guy, but hey, you want your guys going to the NFL.
Right.
That's perfectly fine. You want to see that. So as long as we don't have an exodus in the portal where guys are going to other schools, I'm happy for all the guys that go get the NFL opportunity. But we need to retain the guys that are going to stick around and play another year in college. But very positive things coming out this off season, and I'm looking forward to an official announcement, and we'll continue to talk about it. So that's going to really wrap up this episode. Again, please like, subscribe, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, like and subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple. And remember, Slushy Mike, the giveaway, courtesy of our friends at Hughley Insurance, 4 tickets to the SEC men's basketball home opener against Vanderbilt. DM us, Slushy Mike, and we will enter you into this contest. You have to be subscribed on either YouTube, Spotify, or Apple to win the contest. So appreciate everyone listening. As always, go Cox.
Go Cox.